Hi everyone, Raisa, Shafira, Affandi here. For our final module, we're talking about finding poetry you like. We'll explore how to discover poems that truly speak to you. Let's get started. The learning objectives of this module are 1. To bring together the knowledge of poetry, how to read it, and poetic devices for a personalized reading experience. 2. To understand how to find poetry that is personally enjoyable. And 3. To understand why reading poetry that you like is important. So let's look at a course summary first. So far, this course has explained the various definitions of poetry, tips for reading it, the various elements of poetry, and how being aware of them can enhance the reading experience. Hopefully, your poetry senses have been sharpened and you can now read poetry with greater enjoyment. Maybe return to the poems you like for something new, or find new poems. But how can we find poetry that we like? How do we know what we like? This may seem like a very obvious question, but let's go into it a little bit deeper. Oftentimes, the things we like are the things that resonate most with us. Perhaps we feel understood, seen, perhaps the poet gave voice to a feeling we had but never knew how to talk about. Or perhaps we feel intrigued and inspired or excited to see the world in a new way. Either way, reading poetry should be a pleasant, recreational experience, even if the poem makes you cry. To quote Judy Rowe Michaels, people need to experience powerful, immediate, personal encounters with art if they're to fall in love with it. Poetry is an experience, and reading is one that belongs to you. Don't feel pressure to read something that doesn't resonate with you. Now, poetry is life, as we've said, not just techniques. To quote from Rainer Maria Rilke from Letters to a Young Poet, works of art are of an infinite loneliness, and with nothing so little to be reached as with criticism. Only love can grasp and hold and be just toward them. Consider yourself and your feeling right every time with regard to every such argumentation, discussion, or introduction. If you are wrong after all, the natural growth of your inner life will lead you slowly and with time to other insights. Leave to your opinions their own quiet, undisturbed development, which, like all progress, must come from deep within and cannot be pressed or hurried by anything. So, it's love, the self, your own opinions and feelings that can truly grasp art, not criticism, argumentation, and dissection of poetry. Now, here are some tips for finding poetry that you like. If you want to find something new, you can 1. Look at poetry anthologies. Usually, they contain the famous works of very popular poets who are probably popular for a reason. If you find something that resonates with you, you can look into more poems by the same poet. 2. You can also look at poetry blogs, websites, or social media accounts. PoetryFoundation.org is an archive of all existing poetry and even has a Poem of the Day and Poet of the Day feature if you only want a quick look. These are mainly for English poems, however. You can also look at Goodreads for recommendations. Next, your local bookstore probably has a collection of poems. Browse around for anything you may like. 4. Join book clubs. Book clubs are a great way to connect with people with a similar interest and find new poems or other things that you may have not known about before. 5. Your favorite writers or artists usually have their own favorite writers or artists. Perhaps you might like them too. So let's review what we've learned. Oftentimes, the poetry we like the most is the poetry that resonates with us deeply. Maybe it evokes a strong emotion or other reaction in us. The root of poetry is life and everything in it. Love, joy, grief, confusion, ambition, hope, stress, beliefs, opinions, even food, routines, and so on. And techniques are meant to help us describe what it is we experience and feel when reading poetry, and why it makes us feel that way. Lastly, you can look for new poetry in anthologies, blogs, social media, bookstores, book clubs, friend recommendations, and more. And that's the end of our journey together. I hope this course has helped you not only understand poetry, but also fall in love with it in your own way. Keep reading, keep exploring, and keep letting poetry be part of your life.